So, yeah, so when I sold my company, I had some money, and I thought, someone said, Little Havana might happen. And I thought, well, let me go down and have a look.
So you're diving into the investments now. So that's
Well, I had my farm in Costa Rica, which I bought in 1994.
and
It
what
was
did you pay for that?
that was a piece of land. I went down to Costa. Well, I went down to. That's a funny story too. I went to Costa Rica, um, basically because I was under a lot of stress, and my family would go to Europe for the summer. My ex-wife is Dutch. She would take the kids and go to her parents. So I needed a weekend off, and the guy says, "Why don't you go to Costa Rica and see what that's about?" I go, "Well, I could go for a weekend." I book a flight Thursday down, back on Sunday. And I go down to Costa Rica. I remember it was the 28th of July. And I remember because that's the Independence Day for Peru. That's why I remember. 1994. And I get there Thursday night. I go out. I have a couple drinks. I have some fun. I dance a little bit. And Friday I have a meeting with a banker. And the guy says, "Have you ever been river rafting?" I said, "No." He says, "You really ought to go. When are you leaving?" I go, "I'm leaving in 2 days, Sunday." He goes, "Well, let my secretary reserve for you tomorrow, Saturday. You can go river rafting." I go, "Okay, how does that work?" "They'll pick you up at the hotel 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. You go river rafting all day and you go back to your hotel." "Okay." So a guy picks you up. I go river rafting. Amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
amazing
a lot
to be
of fun.
river rafting in Costa Rica in the jungle. Oh my God. And we get done with the river rafting, and they're serving you pineapple and papaya and nice fruit and some Coca-Cola and whatever. And I thought, wow, this is nice. And I look up from the river, and there's a bridge. I go, wow, what a beautiful bridge. I asked the guy, "Hey, Chico, what's that bridge about?" "Oye, ese puente dónde es?" The guy says, "That's the old road from San Jose, the capital city where you're staying, to the Atlantic coast, a place called Limon." I go, wow. He says, "Yeah, that's the old road. People don't use it anymore. They go on the new road because there's a tunnel through the mountain." Oh, okay. I go back to San Jose, capital of Costa Rica, cancel my Sunday flight, pick up my weekend bag. That was Saturday. Cancel my flight, walk to the bus station the next morning and go, "I need a bus on the old road to Limon." The guy says, "You got to change buses 3 times. I go, "Let's do it, baby." I get on the bus with my Walkman.
That sounds like some Romancing the Stone movie type.
All the people with their chickens on their laps.
Yeah.
And the bus goes San Jose to Cartago, first stop. You switch buses. Then you go to Rialba, second stop, change buses. Then you go to Siqueres, you change buses again. And then you get to Limon. It was like a 7-hour ride through the countryside. I got my Walkman on. I'm not feeling any pain. It's pretty cool. I get to Limon Sunday afternoon. It was the 31st of July. I get out of the bus in the middle of Limon, Center Parks, church park, typical Latin American layout. And a taxi drives up. And he says to me in Spanish, "¿Qué se le ofrece, varón?" It's like, "What do you need, man?" In Spanish. And I go, "Well, I want to go look at the ocean." The guy says, "Hop in." I go, "But you have 2 passengers." "No, they're my girlfriends. Hop in." I hop in. The guy takes me to the coast, and it was a terribly disappointed. It was like dirty and gray sand, and the guy took me to the port. I go, "Don't you guys have any neat beaches?" He goes, "Down the coast a bit." I go, "Oh, okay." I go, "Don't you guys have like any music at night and whatever?" He says, "Yeah, I'll pick you up in a couple hours. Take a shower." So I take a shower. The guy picks me up. We go to a place, I remember, on the coast. And I'm expecting like merengue, salsa, and they start playing like reggae.
Really?
Because they speak English on the Atlantic coast of all
Okay.
of Central America. I remember they brought out a green lemon with rum, and they cut the lemon in half, and it was orange inside. I'd never seen a green lemon.
Never.
There was orange inside. Limón naranja, they call it. I go, holy shit. They just cut a lemon that was green, dark green, and it's orange inside.
Inside. That's interesting.
Listen to
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, me neither. Had never heard of that.
Okay, how does it taste?
Well, it's like a lemon. It's a lemon.
Same shit.
Yeah,
different color.
Put it in the rum, couple pieces of ice. You're drinking. You're dancing a little bit. The music's kind of funky. And I tell the driver, I go, I'd like to cross the entire country and go to Nicaragua on the Pacific coast. Remember, we're on the Atlantic coast.
Mm-hmm.
That guy says, you're talking, that's like a few days drive.
Yeah.
I go, yeah. I go, can you do it? The guy says, well, guy's 22 years old. He goes, I don't know. You know what? Let me talk to my boss and get the newer car. Takes me back to my hotel, which was $5, and I shared my bed with 8 roaches.
That's appealing.
You walk into the hotel, they check you for guns.
Okay.
It was that bad. You got to go through a metal detector to get to your hotel room, okay?
Now, are you carrying at any point?
No, I'm carrying my weekend bag.
Your balls is what you're carrying at that point.
I sleep all night. The guy calls me up the next morning, picks me up, and says, let's go. So we drive to the first city. And late in the afternoon, I remember that the guy's house, to have running water, he would have like a mountain stream flow through the house and then out. That was his running water.
Amazing.
And it was really elevated, and that was because it was rainy season, and the rain would be pretty high. Anyway, the guy picks me up. We drive to the first town, and I got a lot of money, right? I'm like a rich old guy, whatever, to him. And we go to a bar, and the guy orders a bottle of Johnny Walker Black, which I don't even know what it costs. Man, $30, $40, whatever. But this guy, makes $30 a month.
Right. That for him was like.
So I do something. I come back and I see the guy on the second floor, like drinking and like, being real important. Anyway, as it turns out, the guy finishes a bottle of Johnny Walker Black. And he's so drunk the next day that I end up driving the taxi.
How funny. You're the one taking over at this point.
He's puking out the passenger side, and I'm driving the taxi. We go to the next city. I make some notes. I look at altitude. I look at geography, latitude, longitude. I'm very anal for that kind of stuff. And I make some notes, and I go, I'd like to have a piece of land here or a house or something. I'll come back later. And we drive to pretty close to the Nicaraguan coast. The guy leaves me there.
So how many days was it in total?
That was like 3 days or
okay.
So. We get there, and for this guy to go from Limon to Liberia was like for you to go from Miami to Argentina, He had never been out of Limon. We get to Liberia, I pay him, I go to the coast, and the beach is absolutely gorgeous. Flamingo is the name of the place. I walk into the hotel. I go, yeah, I'd like to have a room. They give me a room. I come back down. I go, I don't want that room. I want the room on the end. They go, yeah, but that's for a family of 8. I go, I'll pay for a family of 8. It's got the view of the ocean, setting sun at the end of the day. I get that room, beautiful view. And I'd get up in the morning. I'd swim the whole bay. I was a swimmer in high school, as you know. I swim the whole bay. I'd run back. It was great, a few days. And then it was time to come back to reality. So I go to the hotel desk. I go, look, I need a driver. Oh, one night we went into Liberia, and they're playing the marimba. And I asked the guy if I could play. So I'm playing the marimba, and the gringos are thinking, look at this guy play the marimba. He's a local guy.
Right.
That was pretty funny. Anyway, I tell the guy I want to go back to San Jose. He says, well, you have to go. We can call for an airplane. You have to go to the airport. Okay. All right, fine. I pay the guy whatever it is. The guy drives me in a van to the airport. The airport at that point in time was a soccer field. One building the size of an outhouse. I mean, tiny, like one of those portable toilets, and a soccer field.
That's crazy.
The guy lands in the plane. He's got his stripes of captain. It's a 2-motor plane, 2-engine plane. And the guy takes out a list, opens up the back door, and he says, passengers for today, pasajeros de hoy, Daniel Weisman. I go, that's me. He says, please. I look around.
That's it?
No one's around.
The only one?
No one. So I go, usted es el capitán, el piloto. Sí, señor. Le importa si me siento adelante? Do you mind if I
So
sit
you're
in
in the front of the
with
plane
you
at this point?
and fly it with you?
You're the co-pilot.
The guy says, no problem. Put on these headphones. I get in the front of the plane and we fly. And I remember, which came in handy many years later, I would go, Chico, what's that beach? He goes, let's have a look at it. Yeah, we'd go down. That's so-and-so beach by Juco. And you come back up again. Anyways, we get to Samaná and we pick up a French family with a baby and we end up in San Jose. I stay in San Jose another day or two and I fly back to Miami. But I had made
So how long were you there in total then? For like a week?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I made enough notes, maybe 8 days, that I knew where I wanted to buy a piece of land. So I call up my friend. I go, look, I'm coming in Thanksgiving with the purpose of buying a piece of land or a house in Costa Rica. This is my budget. I want to be between this town, and this town, blah, 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 at this altitude, so forth. I get to Costa Rica in Thanksgiving.
So at this point, your buddy over there is the one that puts you in contact with
a realtor.
The realtor over there that's going to help you.
It was a woman, and she takes me up to one piece of land. I didn't like it. To another one, I liked it almost, but I didn't like it. And she takes me to a piece of land which is in the top of the mountain, 6,500 feet, 2,000 meters high, really high, higher than Denver. And I get out of the car, I look at it, and I'm looking for 1 to 2 acres. 2 acres is 60,000 feet, más o menos. Mm-hmm. 1 acre is 43,000. 2 acres, an acre and a half is 60,000 feet. So I ask them, they go, this is 60,000, blah, blah, blah. I go, perfect. I go back to the city and put in a bid, and I get it. They take me to the mountain, and they go, you have to come back in January to close. But you can look at the land now. No, I'll come back in January. I go back in January.
So you buy this land, and you haven't even...
I put a deposit
Okay,
on
and you haven't even seen it at this point.
I saw it. I looked at it. I drove up, looked at it.
But
I couldn't look at it because I had a gate, so I didn't really see it. Come back in January, I close on it. I go up there to look at it, and these guys are waiting with a horse for me. And I go, they're in horses. I go, what are you doing with the horses? This is 60,000 feet. It's an acre and a half. No, senor. You bought 60,000 meters. You bought the whole mountain.
No shit.
Oh, okay. Amazing. So I buy this 15-acre farm with no structures on it. And it was 1994, 1995-ish. And I started building in 1996. And I built 3 houses and a barn and blah, 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 and everything else. And that was my farm for 25 years. COVID broke out in March of 2020, and I sold the farm in May of 2020.
Okay.
Haven't been back to Costa Rica since. I do miss it like hell, but beautiful farm. View of the Pacific Ocean at 120 miles. Was the top of the mountain. It was amazing. So I had 25 great years there.